Good morning. I am currently in training for a mountain marathon in September, and today I'm out on a long endurance run, and I'm going to take you along with me, have a chat about my training and show you off the Mourne Mountains here in Northern Ireland. The race I'm training for is the Steel Marathon in Scotland. It's in September and it's going to be 26 miles, so marathon distance, and 2,400 meters of elevation. Today I'm hoping to do 10 miles and about 1,200 meters of elevation. So we're here, we're going to run all the way up here, this bit called the saddle, and then down this direction. Actually, that map's useless. It only shows about the first 2 miles. Right, I'm just going to put the camera away for a bit so I can just concentrate on getting warmed up, and I'll pick things up once I get out the top of the forest. So this today will be about half the effort of the actual marathon. All right, that is me out of the trees and up the first bit of climbing. That first mile is a steady climb, so I've fast hiked it rather than running. I sometimes think I'm really not cut out to be a mountain runner. I've got asthma, I've got lots of issues with my hip and my ankle. My lungs, like literally, I've taken my inhaler this morning, but my lungs, like, they feel like fire, absolute fire. It normally settles down, but it takes about half an hour once I'm actually out and active for that first half an hour. When I breathe in, when I get to about there, I get a sharp stabbing pain in my lungs. So yeah, maybe that'll be an encouragement to some of you who don't think you're equipped to run in mountains either. Trying something new today. My stomach doesn't tolerate eating that much in the morning, so I really need to have liquids, and I find that for nutrition when I'm out, gels make me feel sick, so I'm trying for the first time Tailwind. I've got lemon Tailwind in this bottle, I've got watermelon Tailwind in this green bottle, colour coded of course. Tailwind is basically a sports drink that comes as a powder and you make it up, kind of like Lucozade but better, I assume, because it's fancy. So I'm going to be trying that today. There's about 200 calories in each of these bottles, and then I've got some snacks for later when I actually start to feel hungry. The effort for today is sort of casual, not pushing it too much, although the climbs are always tricky. This is more about distance and endurance. There's a pretty unpleasant headwind already, and I'm only about 300 meters up. That's nice. Lemon flavoured sweat with some added sugar, which actually doesn't make it sound very appealing at all, but it's quite nice. The advice I got was to sip it regularly as I go, rather than normally with a gel you might take one like every 20 to 40 minutes and then just dumping a load of concentrated sugar into your gut immediately. With this Tailwind, I'm not advertising this by the way, I'm trying to understand how it works. The idea is you just sip it and then you're just constantly topping up your reserves. There we go, 30 minutes in and my lungs have just now stopped feeling like absolute fire. So I'm running how I feel. I run until my legs start to feel quite fatigued, start to feel out of breath, then I'll stop and I'll walk until I feel like I want to run again. I'm just going to do that on repeat all day. My heart rate zone, if anyone's interested, is up in threshold. I think that's zone 4, and that's probably where I'll be for a lot of the day. Usually I've noticed when I stop it drops down to just between zone 3 and 4. My heart rate goes down to about 150 beats per minute, and that's when I feel like I can move again. And then when it gets to around 170, that's when I feel like I need to stop. So the training should reduce those numbers a bit and also allow me to think I'm not actually sure how heart rate training works. What I do know is if you run in the green and below, you're basically maintaining your fitness, and if you run sort of orange and up, you're increasing your fitness. It's not quite as simple as that, but that's sort of how I think about it. I guess another way of thinking about it is that when it comes to your fitness, green is great, but orange is better, which is probably a risky thing to say in Northern Ireland. So this, it's always hard to tell on the wide angle lens, but this is coming to the start of it's about 200 meter climb up what is essentially a stone staircase. And this is one of my fitness litmus tests. When I was at my best trained for the mountains, I could start running here and I could run all the way to the top. Not very quick, but I could do a proper plod run all the way to the top. I'm going to put the camera away and see how far I get today, and that'll give me a good indication of how much improvement is required. This is not good. I made it. That's about a third of the way up. That's a lot more than I thought I was expecting. I'm actually really pleased with that. Yeah, look, right down, that's where I started. Not so much is left. It's about a third, slightly over a third of the way up. Very pleased with that. And especially pleased with that considering 2 days ago I did quite a hilly run. Now 3 days ago I did quite a hilly run. 2 days ago I was doing calf strengthening exercises and my calves haven't fully recovered from that. I only got 5 hours sleep last night, and one of the reasons I only got 5 hours sleep was because I had a big feed of Chinese food last night at 8 PM, so I'm full of salt and grease. Yeah, I'll take that. I will take that. I'm quite chuffed. I honestly thought training works. It always surprises me that training actually works. You just gotta, it's not that hard, just put in the time and you'll get better. And I always forget how simple it is. That's me up at what's called the saddle. Normally, or at least the last couple of weeks, I've gone straight up that way, which is Slieve Donard, tallest mountain in Northern Ireland. That's another 300 metre climb, but I don't want to do that today. I'm going to head down this way on the trail known as the Brandy Pad that runs around the back of the mountains in that direction, and then there's a really long spread out climb back up to the summit of that mountain. That's the plan. That's the plan. It's actually quite difficult to train for the route I'm going to be running in Scotland because the climbing's a lot more gradual. It's 2,400 meters climbing spread over 26 miles. Very difficult to get that kind of exact route in the mornings. The best I can work out would be 26 miles with 3,000 plus meters of climbing, or 20 miles with the same climbing. So it's a lot steeper around here, but in theory, possibly, that means the training will be harder than the actual race. Maybe, but I'll flip this around, you can enjoy the view for a bit. So this right now, this right now is one of the reasons I love mountain running. I've just done a really difficult steady climb over 2.5 miles steady climb up to about 600 meters, and now I'm running downhill again. And as soon as you go over the top like that, you just, or at least I do, I just get this mild rush of euphoria and unbridled joy and happiness just for a moment. It's like somebody's just, I don't know, injected you with some kind of mood altering drug. It's amazing. It's amazing. I kind of find when I run on my own, I kind of observe how I feel a lot, That whole climb, I did not really feel good. I did not feel happy. I was just getting it done, and now I'm just like, I'm beaming for no reason other than I'm now going a little bit downhill. Who needs drugs? You can just run up a mountain on a Saturday morning. And the drugs don't work. Oh, this is new. It used to go that way. Hi, sheep! Starting to get a bit chilly. Stuck on my buff. Sorry, not my buff. My tube scarf. My Harrier Trail Running tube scarf. I've got my Harrier Trail Running. It's the Kubar 5 litre. I think I probably should have bought my 10 litre Kinder pack, but I like it, and I now have a permanent discount code for Harrier Trail Running. Use SJR10 and you'll get 10% off. Right, that way over there, that's Hares Gap, and it's always further away than I think it is. But if I get there in 15 minutes, I might just be able to meet these guys that were camping. So why am I not running? I love this bit along here. It's quite technical. And it's not a flat trail, so you really have to watch your foot placement. But if you get a good rhythm going, you can run all the way around here. It's also the place where I really badly rolled my ankle. So I gotta be careful, and I did that because I was paying attention to an action camera and not what my feet were doing. But look, it's like the world's most dangerous game of hopscotch. Bubbly, 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 bubbly. This is Hares Gap, and this is my turning around point, because I'm going to be heading right back up that way. Oh, my legs are immediately feeling that. I've got a lot of climbing to go. Oh, there they are. They're about a kilometre away. I am not going down just to say hello to them, because we gotta go all the way up there. Looks like I'm gonna be heading up into the clouds. Oh, that is getting cold. That is getting cold. I'm resisting putting on my extra layer though, because I just know that as soon as I start climbing again, the second will warm up, I'll tuck in close to the wall. That is one advantage of having a wall running around all of the mountains here. Look at that. If it's windy and the wind's come from that direction, you're just getting close to it and it's a big windbreak. Oh. It smells like I'm wearing someone's old socks. It can get quite cold and windy when you're higher up, but the ambient temperature's warm, so you still sweat a lot. So if you wear a normal waterproof, you can get dehydrated even though it's raining, because you're warm underneath it. So what I'm testing is I'm carrying a thin windbreaker like this, so it'll cut the wind, keep me warm, and it will get damp, but it'll still add a layer of warmth. And then if I still get cold after that, or the wind gets really heavy, I then have a waterproof layer I can stick on over the top. If this was the winter and it was colder, I would have like a merino base layer that I'd be wearing, that I then layer the raincoat over the top. But I find this time of year that's just too warm. Just while I'm plodding uphill here, I want to talk about couple of mistakes I made, or I've made in the past when I've been training. The first one is, rather than doing sort of mobility exercises, I just took painkillers. So I'd been out for a run, something was starting to hurt, I'd pop a couple of ibuprofen, it would stop the pain until the run was done. And then I do that next time, and I've since learned that's a terrible idea for two reasons. One, there's a link between ibuprofen and I think heart attacks on endurance sports. So from a health perspective, it's a bad idea. I think, I'm not sure exactly, but there's been cases where it can make, so it's not safe to start with. And then the second thing is, when you take painkillers, you don't know what condition your body is in, so you can't listen to it anymore. The signals it's trying to tell you are numb. So I've decided no more painkillers, I'll run in pain and deal with it. The second mistake I made is that I did pretty much no mobility exercises or no strength work whatsoever. I've since realised that plays a big part in improving your running ability, and especially mountain running. It's a strength sport. It's not an aerobic sport. It is a strength sport, because when you're going uphill, you're lifting the entire weight of your body up with every single step, and that is just pure strength. So I've been doing a bit more. I've been doing kettlebell swings. I've been doing medicine balls, kind of squats and throwing them, and then I've been doing some calf specific exercises. I've been doing little sort of, bounces on a step, and then calf raises and things like that. And I've noticed already it's making a big difference. So I'm feeling a lot better about my training now. I think it's almost good that I had a break from mountain running, because it's forced me to completely reset and rethink how I go about this. And one other thing, which might seem contradictory, but I haven't done any races, and I'm not really intending to do any races in between. Quite a few years when I was mountain training, I tried to run the Hill and Dale race series in between my training, and they're like a weekly series of races on a Wednesday night, which in theory, a race midday training would be good, but my problem was I went out on every single one of those, gave it absolutely everything to the point of wrecking myself. And they're quite short races, only 4 miles, and my ultimate goal was a long distance race, a 20-miler race. So I would go out and wreck myself on these 4-milers, and then when it got to the weekend, when I was supposed to do my long run in the mountains, they went badly, really, really badly, because I hadn't recovered in time. Next big climb up Slieve Commodore. It's a tight climb. Every now and then I'm just doing a little uphill run. There's a good thumbnail. Ow. So fresh. Right, that's us at the summit of Slieve Commodore, and I've got a choice now. I can either do what I had optimistically originally planned to do, which was run down Slieve Commodore to the saddle where I was earlier, and then run up Slieve Donard, the other side, with that about 300 metres of climbing on, and about another mile of distance. Or I can run out this way into nothingness, and it's it's just a solid run back down again. So I think on balance I'm going to do the run down, because I don't want to over fatigue my legs. I'm really paranoid about getting injured, and also the Mourne Mountain Marathon is starting at 12, which is in about 50 minutes. So if I go down this way, I'll get a chance to watch them heading off, whereas if I go up Slade Donard, by the time I get back down, it could have already gone. So I'm gonna go this way. But first of all, I'm gonna tighten my shoelaces. A few people have asked me about these shoes. These are the Topo Athletic Pursuit, and when I first got them, I did not like them at all. I thought they didn't have enough padding. They didn't feel super comfortable, but then after I wore them for several runs, it suddenly clicked, and now I really, really like them. They're zero drop, and they don't have a huge amount of, there isn't a massive stack height, so I found I'm much less prone to rolling my ankle in them, and you can tighten them up. So I've got them they're quite tight along here now, so that my foot won't slide around for a more technical descent, but my forefoot is free in there, so I feel like I've got more control. So yeah, I really like them, but they take a little bit of getting used to. So just tighten those up. Yeah, that's what I like about it. Even you tighten them up the whole way, it doesn't tighten beyond, it only tightens to about there, so your whole forefoot stays loose, but it tightens up this bit, which I find is been really good for descending. Let's get off this mountain. Oh, that's me off the open mountain down into the forest. I think we've done about 10 minutes, which is good because the rest of that Chinese from last night has worked its way through my system and I'm starting to cramp up. I've got one essential thing I've got to do before I finish this run. Oh, that's quite cold. Woo. So there's an ultra and a marathon along the Mourne Way today. The ultra runners have to run from Rostrevor to here and then back again to do their ultra, and then the marathon runners are starting here and they're heading that way, and they're going to be away in 3 minutes. Oh. Well, that is absolutely grim. Deeply, deeply unpleasant weather to be starting to run a marathon in.
Yay! Go on, Michelle, keep going.
Well, rather them than me. Yeah, so 3 hours, 16 minutes of running, and I did 9.4 miles. Probably by the time I get back to the van, it would have been 4.5 miles, but I had to stop up there at the starting line. Pretty pleased with that. That was a solid run. I don't have any major pains. Got a little bit of a pain in my hip. That's usually what's triggered, but my feet are totally fine, and I don't feel like I'm completely dead. So yeah, that's looking good for next week. So I think next week what I'm going to do is, well, actually, I think the next video, I need to sit down and plan this training a bit better. I'm kind of just going out and doing what I feel like every week. I need to sit down, put a plan together. I'll maybe make a video about that. But I think next week what I'll be doing is a long, slow run, not in mountains, not on really steep climbs, but just on trail. That today was supposed to be that kind of run, but I forgot just how much climbing there was. So I want to just get out and actually run, move quicker for a longer distance. That'll be next week, a long trail run, maybe Tollymore Forest or somewhere like that. Back in the van, and I'm now going to try this Tailwind recovery mix. I think actually the Tailwind I drank today worked out really, really well. I didn't feel sick or nauseous once, and my energy levels were pretty good all the way around. So this is a recovery mix which has stuff for recovery in it. I'm guessing it's got carbs and protein. That would make sense. And to make it up, but you see me spilling this everywhere. you just pour it in, 500 mils of water. Get every last drop. Put the lid in. Well, that's interesting. It's not bad. Wouldn't say it's delicious. It tastes like a slightly salty chocolate milk. Okay, I'll be honest, that's not delicious. It's tolerable, but if it helps me recover, I'll knock it back. The lemon and the watermelon, on the other hand, they were delicious.